Where might they come from? Why do they have a terrestrial presence? What do they want? And are they threatening or perhaps beneficial in some way to human and other living beings? As absurd as such questions may sound, and I acknowledge that entirely, no one today should feel ashamed to pursue them if the majority leader of the Senate has sponsored legislation concerning NHI. As we inquire into so-called NHI in an anthropomorphic way, by presuming that some of our fundamental categories, such as technology, nature, and life, and the analogies we draw on their basis, are adequate for anticipating whatever or whomever NHI might be. Certain UAP events are so bizarre and even absurd that they seem to belong more to the realm of visionary religious experience than any kind of tangible reality. The witnesses are not often observing objects that are somehow technological. That's evident enough for several reasons. Nor is it, however, that the objects are somehow so far beyond our categories of thought that they cannot be technological. The problem instead is that the very concept of technology may prevent us from understanding UAP vehicles and their significance. This is most obvious of the long-standing and recently repopularized view that UAP effectively are largely or only technological. According to different versions of that claim, unidentified objects could be nothing else but fabricated machines in a familiar sense. That is, they could not be also partly biological or quasi-biological, or even noetic entities of thought. The data from witness reports, and too ill-conceived to enable us to draw insights from the other concepts and make anticipatory comparisons. This is most evident with the concepts often favored by proponents of the view that technology is merely an aspect of a broader UFO, UAP phenomenon, which are the concepts of the supernatural and consciousness. Almost the antithesis of the technological view, this perspective is that the sorts of psychical and even noetic phenomena that are often part of UAP events indicate that the vehicles emerge from an understanding or order of reality so beyond that of physics as it is normally interpreted as to be supernatural or intangible manifestations of consciousness. That may seem justified enough in the case of some particularly anomalous UAP events, but then vehicles that so much evidence indicates to be physical are often conflated with gods, with angels, demons, and other ostensibly supernatural beings, and sometimes even imagined to be illusory. Human beings are then conceived of as little more than subordinates of these higher consciousnesses, impotent beings unable to do much more than wonder at what the gods might be up to or hope to be blessed by the just among them with enlightenment. We need to take distance from our concepts, thinking from another human position and another human perspective. The most difficult and challenging such feat of discernment, it caused an ontological shock to anthropologists and initiated our ontological turn, as it's known, arose from the study of human collectives, often called animist, and their ontology. Among certain Amazonian, Siberian, Arctic, and other North American indigenous peoples, it is still common to ascribe culture and politics to animals, plants, and even minerals and technological objects, and to conceive of them as entirely self-conscious and even human beings, yes, as part of humanity, whatever their external corporeal appearance. This entails that it is foreign to such collectives to believe that there is nature, per se, in our sense of a physical universe in which human beings would be exceptional for being self-conscious, intelligent, and technological. These collectives believe those characteristics to be the primary attributes of all beings. Now, that may sound to us like a cultural understanding of nature, but it goes much further, conditioning the practices of such people so that anything we might call politics, religion, and art incorporates animals and plants, and thus does not involve a sphere of nature external to society. An animist ontology might allow us to better flesh out, so to speak, our images of the reality of NHI by imagining that the physicality of a conscious being need not be organic or even a discrete, unified body as we understand it. As animist peoples promiscuously ascribe consciousness even to fabricated objects or such fuzzily individuated beings as minerals and hills. The physicality of NHI could be easily imaginable as an organism or some other kind of biological form or a machine or a self-replicating machine, a biotechnological hybrid, or a body as yet unimaginable to the sciences, including a collective body. And of course, it could be all those options. All of those possibilities would be conceivable and seem compatible to us were we to hold the animist assumption that the common denominator of beings is intelligently self-aware consciousness and that physicality and embodiment differentiate them. To sum up the results of this thought experiment, beginning from the premise of a universe rich with self-consciousness allowed us to conceive of NHI generically rather than in terms of a single concept, and emulating the animist idea that physicality is not differentiated by, but differentiates consciousness, enabled us to imagine a range of bodies or material formats for that consciousness rather than just ET organisms, general AI, or no bodies at all.